This is for Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. It's another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by Mountain Dew. Looking for a refreshing citrusy kick? Go grab yourself a Mountain Dew. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer here as we kick off the 2025 playoffs. And Plouffe has done the opposite of grow out his postseason beard. What are you, a Baseball America prospect? What's going on?
I just want the Yankees to return to their glory days, Chris. That's it. I'm just trying to will it into, existence right now. Maybe I'm looking for a managerial job. There's a lot of openings as well. So I want to look, clean, fresh, young, naive, like the front office can take control of me, but they won't once I get the job.
All right. Most importantly, what does Olivia think of a clean-shaven Trevor Plouffe?
I'm not clean shaven. I think the video is doing me like a little injustice. There's still stubble here.
You sure?
She likes me no matter what, dude. I really felt like this morning I had a mustache going.
Oh.
And I think it's because I'm going like more gray on the side and not so gray on my lip. So I just decided to take it down. I look at my grandpa right now when I look at myself, which is, I don't know if he's a handsome guy, but I don't know if I want to look like my grandpa.
All right. We are so excited. We got 4 games coming your way on Tuesday, 4 more on Wednesday, hopefully maybe 4 more on Thursday, depending on who you're cheering for and who you're not and stuff like that. I don't think we'll get 4, but you never know. We're going to start it off with the series in the American League. It is game number 3 of 4 on Tuesday. The rivalry that is Boston and New York. It's the 6th postseason meeting between these two Titans, not including the 1978 Bucky frickin' Dent game. The big news here, Boston will not have Lucas Giolito. He is seeing an elbow specialist. It's been cranky over the weekend. That is not good news. We'll get to what that means a little bit later on. Game 1, though, a pair of all-star lefties going at it. You've got Max Fried and Garrett Crochet. Both, of course, came to the American League East this past offseason. They have certainly lived up to the billing.
He's been a great pitcher in this league now for a while. That being said, you're one of the big free agents out there. You come to New York. Can be a challenging and daunting thing. He's handled it so well, so seamlessly. Just forget the pitcher for a minute. Just his makeup, the person, the teammate he is, has been more than I could have ever imagined. Honestly, he's been outstanding.
I'm just going to try my best to treat it as another start. Obviously the implications are a little bit bigger, but for me, there's no need to put any excess pressure on it. There's already a good lineup on the other side, so that's enough pressure as it is.
That, of course, was Garrett Crochet. Before him, Yankee skipper Aaron Boone. Which starter do you think we're going to be talking about more and why after game 1?
I don't love the question, Chris, right off the bat. Let's just start out there. I think we'll be talking about both these guys. They both had immense success against the other team this year. So I think we're going to get 2 good starts from these guys. I really do. I think the difference in this game is going to be a long ball. And whether that's Alex Bregman, who's had good numbers against Fried, whether Aaron Judge clips Crochet, or maybe we have somebody else step up for the Yankees. I think both these guys, though, are going to go 5-6 innings, keep this game close, and it's going to come down to some sort of baseball play. Could it be a defensive miscue? Could it be that big homer I'm talking about? But I expect both these guys to go out and have really good starts. Crochet's had 3 quality starts in a row against the Yankees after his first start, not so good. Max Fried has been lights out against Boston. I mean, 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, and 5 1/3 too. So it's like both these guys are up for the task. They've been exceptional this year. I think we're going to say, wow, it was fun to see those guys pitch, and then something else is going to happen. So I think we'll be talking about both of them in a positive light, and then there's going to be something else to decide this game.
Yeah, you talked about the stats this year for Crochet, 3-0 in 4 starts against New York, 39 strikeouts, only 4 walks in 27 innings. He's got some monster numbers against guys. I'll tell you what I'll be watching here is Max Fried, because Aaron Boone talked about it, that when a free agent goes to New York, there have been some great pitchers in particular where it's gone sideways for them, right? You think about Kevin Brown. About 2 decades ago when he got up there, he was a dominant right-handed pitcher, and it got ugly. Randy Johnson did not have a good time up there. So we've seen some of the bigger names in the sport where it didn't go great. It's been really, really good for Max Fried. he does have to shake off a little bit of the postseason bugaboos since he was the guy that started the clincher in Game 6 of the 2021 World Series for the Atlanta Braves. In his last 3 postseason starts, a total of 9 1/3 innings pitched. Total 9 1/3 innings pitched, 14 runs allowed, 12 of them earned. Last year, he only made it 2 innings against San Diego. I know he had some health issues going on, but still, this is something that biggest stage, short series, arch rival, no matter what you did in the regular season, this is what you're going to be remembered for when you put on the pinstripes.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Crochet. He has no starts in the postseason. He's got a couple of relief appearances. So, like, he has to go into the Bronx and prove that. I mean, it's going to be a different game, obviously, in the playoffs. But again, I just think these guys, they're both in their prime. Like, it feels like we're going to see, a 2-1 game when these guys come out. That's like what I feel like. Maybe someone pops him, whatever it is. Is it Ahmed Rosario? Is he going to get the play? Because he's got the best numbers against Crochet. Yeah, he's 5 for 9 at home or 2 runs driven in. I don't know how they're going to work him into the lineup. Maybe they find a way to do that. But I expect to see some dominant starting pitching out of both these guys.
Yeah, Jack Curry put out a projected lineup, and it did not have Jazz Chisholm in it, had Ahmed Rosario in it. And, he's as well connected as anybody to the New York Yankees. Certainly feels like you're going to get a lot of right-handed sticks in there against Crochet. Certainly thinking about it. So let's move on to this. How much pressure is there on Aaron Judge, and how huge a narrative is it for him to be successful during this postseason?
I think there is pressure. There's no doubt about it. For a guy that is as good as he is, he still sits in bed at night and thinks about what kind of postseasons that he's had or the stuff that he hasn't done. And, he probably still thinks about that fly ball in center field or, like that's because he's great. He thinks that way. Like, he wants to be better in the postseason for the Yankees. Overall, like, what do I think? Do I think he needs to put more pressure on himself, or do I think that this is going to define his legacy? I truly do not. I expect Aaron Judge at some point in his postseason career to just go off and take a postseason over. Does that mean he gets a championship? I don't know. I expect him, like I said, to at some point just go off. He's just too good of a hitter. Like, I just, the numbers aren't going to continue to be what they've been. So he's probably going to put some pressure on himself, but I don't think that is going to hinder his performance. And if this is going to be the year, it could be. I don't know. I just eventually, in my mind, I picture him winning series and being the guy that that takes his team to the next level.
The question is, how much pressure is on him? And the answer is a lot. It's just facts here. He is last week when you weren't here, I think we discussed, is he already a top 10 offensive player in the history of the sport? And we kind of felt like he was. And in terms of this generation, over the last 30 years, you can certainly make the argument that he is the best offensive player that we've seen. I don't want to go back on that. But the point is that his numbers are out of this world, astronomical. But when he gets to October, something happens. I don't know if it's because of the scouting reports. I don't know if it's always because the pitching is significantly better, but something happens. His OPS is 250 points lower in the playoffs than it is during his regular season career. His strikeout percentage is almost 40% compared to about 33% during the regular season. That is an enormous jump. And he's facing probably the 2 worst guys that he can right out of the gate. Garrett Crochet, he has struck out 11 times in 15 career at-bats against him. Some people say, that's a small sample size. It's a shitty sample size is what it is for Aaron Judge. And against Bayo, 2 for 21 in his career. So if they're on the brink of it, come Wednesday night or Thursday or whatever it is, and he hasn't done squat, and the Yankees get eliminated in what is, in my opinion, a coin flip series, guess what we're going to be talking about? It's not going to be him probably winning his 3rd MVP. It's going to be like, when the hell is he going to start doing it? Because it just hasn't happened enough.
205, 318, 450 is the career slash line for him. It's obviously, like you said, it's down immensely. But one good postseason can boost those numbers all the way up to very, very respectable. I do think there is pressure on him. There's no doubt. If it comes up to a big situation and Aaron Judge is at bat and they can't walk him and they got to pitch to him, like those thoughts creep into your head. As good, it doesn't matter, like mentally strong, you're the best hitter on the planet right now, like it doesn't matter, those thoughts will creep into your head. That's just the bottom line. But I don't know, man. You can never tell me that guy's gonna have a bad series. I just won't ever believe you because he's that good of a player. We'll see.
I think we both think that he's going to win the MVP, and if he does, he's going to be the 12th player to win at least 3 of them. Okay, 10 of the 12. What?
I do think he's going to win the MVP, but I did say, I think on this show, that if Cal Raleigh hit 60 homers, he should be the MVP. So maybe I have to eat my words. I don't know.
Well, okay. So my point is this. We both think that he's going to be the 12th player to win a 3rd MVP. 10 of the 12 will have won a championship. The other 2, I guess it's 9 of the 12 will have won a championship. The other 2, in addition to Judge at this point, Mike Trout and Barry Bonds. And with Bonds, the number one thing that we talk about with him is not him not winning a championship. We talk about other things. And with Mike Trout, we sit there and say his organization screwed him because they only got him to 3 playoff games. So we don't ever blame him. Aaron Judge has had ample opportunity. He has played for the biggest brand of the sport. He wants to shake this off because he wants to win, and he's a great teammate, and he's a wonderful captain by all accounts. But, man, this shit has got to bother him.
He started off so hot, too.
Yeah,
2017 to 2018, the numbers are good, and they've dropped since then.
Yep.
I mean, you can even go into 19.
Yep.
Okay.
Very quickly on this, because we don't even know if it's going to factor into play, is that Lucas Giolito was assumingly going to be the 3rd starter for Game 3. He's not even going to make the playoff roster because of the arm issue right now. Is Boston screwed if they get to a Game 3?
I mean, they'd like to have Lucas, who's had put together a really, really nice season for them. Probably better than they could have ever imagined, if we're being honest. So it would have been nice to have him there. But they have other starters. Connolly Early's probably, that's who I would say after Bayo would go. And then for him, it's just going to be a really, really short leash. If you're a young guy or anybody in the postseason, maybe besides Crochet, is going to have a short leash. So I don't think, especially in a 3-game series, it matters a ton. Would you want to have him? Of course. Is it detrimental to their chances? No.
Right. If this is a 5 or 7 game series, I would say it's an immense problem. 3-game series, you can figure it out and move on, which is what we will do right now. The champs will play in the wild card series for the first time since we had the new expanded playoffs. Of course, 2020 was a different sort of series. Everybody had to play in that wild card round. They're going to play host to the Cincinnati Reds, and that means Los Angeles native Hunter Green will get the ball for the Reds in Game 1. He goes against Blake Snell.
I don't know if I sense this shit. I know that all of us are really excited about October and what we can accomplish and do. And now that it's here, I think the best part is we get to prove it to ourselves and see how good of a team we really are together. And that's exciting for us.
You dream about, games and moments like this. It's cool that I'm able to come back home. But yeah, obviously still a task at hand and trying to get it done. So a lot of emotions, but a lot of great emotions.
By the way, people have complained for years about my microphone. Let's fix the one in Chavez Ravine. That one sounded like they were using a couple of tin cans.
Yeah, you sound great now. We're stoked for you.
Crispy, as we like to say in the biz. What's the bigger deal heading into this series? The Reds team postseason inexperience or the Dodgers bullpen woes over the last couple months?
I would say the Reds inexperience. I don't think the Dodgers have bullpen woes anymore. I think they had bullpen woes. I think they figured it out, Chris. I mean, Edgardo Enriquez throwing 117 miles an hour out of the pen is awesome for them. They just had a game against the Mariners. They struck out 9 batters in a row. Roki Sasaki is now going to be in the pen. I feel like everything is, how we said during the season, Dodgers don't care about the regular season. As long as they're healthy for the postseason, like that's all that matters. It feels like that's happened now. Like it just all of a sudden came together for them. So I don't think we're going to be sitting back here and saying bullpen woes for the Dodgers. And maybe that'll be the case. But in my mind, they fixed that, and I think they have enough guys there where I think if you're asking me between those two things, it's the Reds going into Dodger Stadium. They lost 5 of 6 against the Dodgers this year, and people say all the time, doesn't matter about your opponent, just go play your best game. It matters, man. Like, you're going to Dodger Stadium, and the first 3 batters you're seeing are MVPs, man. It's a different team that they're going to be playing against, and it does matter. And maybe if you are a little bit more experienced and you got a little more dirt on your spikes, you don't care, and you don't let the moment get the best of you. But I feel like if we're talking about something going wrong between those two, I would say it's more the inexperience and probably the bright eyes that we're going to see, when this team comes in and has to play the Dodgers. It's the truth, man.
By the way, something I should have said at the beginning of this episode is that we recorded it late Monday night to get it out as early as we could Tuesday, which meant that we weren't privy to who made each postseason roster. Will Smith, of course, the catcher who's been dealing with his hairline fracture in his hand, was taking BP late Monday night to see whether or not he was going to be healthy enough to make the Dodgers roster. So we didn't know that at this point. I don't know if that affects our choice for this series. We'll give you our full bracket coming up a little bit later on. I just wanted to get that out there. I think that the Reds can pitch with the Dodgers. I really do. And we talked about, we don't know exactly where the offense is going to come from because no qualifying Reds batter this year hit 270, had 25 homers. No pitcher won 15 games, nor notched 200 strikeouts. It doesn't mean that they're not a good team, but we talked about it on Monday's show that they really kind of, I can't say they walked in the back door on this one because they earned it, but my God, the Mets were atrocious over the last 3 months and allowed the Cincinnati Reds, who were just kind of meh.
They did walk through the door. The Mets held the door open for them as they walked through.
Okay.
That's the truth, Chris.
You said it. I didn't. So the Dodgers are an enormous favorite here. I am also worried a little bit about Hunter Green, even though he was very, very good down the stretch. Here's why I'm worried. The team that has the second most homers against Hunter Green, the Dodgers. They don't even play in the same division. The team that has the most hits against him outside of the division, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And if you're going to flip it to the other side with Blake Snell, we know that the home plate can move on him a little bit. He has one complete game in 222 career starts. Do you know who it's against?
Reds?
The Reds.
Yeah.
It was the no-hitter. Now, I know only maybe half of that lineup will be guys that are going to face him Tuesday night. But I think the point is that he might have some confidence when he sees that uniform. I also, to me, I think the most fascinating thing is going to be how the Dodgers use their pen. I'm curious to see when Glasnow pitches. I don't think that Clayton Kershaw is going to be on the roster because he started on Sunday, so we'll see him in the divisional round.
I think they said he's not going to be on the roster.
Right. I thought maybe they would because we saw him come out of the bullpen, I think, against Arizona in a ninth-inning game. But so I thought that would be interesting. But you said the Dodgers have solved their bullpen woes. I think only if they are willing to pull the trigger on using Roki in huge high-leverage situations, using Tyler Glasnow out of the pen. Their ERA in September was over 5.5. Do you think that, for example, that Tanner Scott is going to get the ball in a critical situation?
I don't think so. I mean, I really don't. I think they have guys back they can go to. They have to rearrange how they're using them, and that is how Dave Roberts is going to earn that dang paycheck that he gets, that $8 million. I believe that's what he's getting paid. They have arms, Chris. They have the guys to get the job done. It's how do you match it up? How do you use them? You mentioned Glasnow and Roki going back there. I mean, that's two guys that are throwing the pill, upper 90s into the hundreds again, that you can go to. I don't think the Reds have that, although it's come out that it's going to be Hunter Green, it's going to be Zach Littell, and then Andrew Abbott in a game 3. So Lodolo is going to go to the bullpen, which I think is very smart for Tito,
so
attaboy Tito, because you can line him up. If you got, that Shohei Freeman, Mookie Lane, I think Lodolo's the guy to go get it done.
It's interesting. Really interesting. Yeah. I mean, I do think the Reds are fascinating because they got an abundance of starting pitching that you can pull out of the bullpen. That's what I love about October is that it's the organizations that have the foresight to figure out when to make their guys uncomfortable because it'll make the other guys uncomfortable. And I love that. How many times over the last 15 years have we seen a starting pitcher come out and close the World Series?
Love it. So good.
It's great.
So good.
It's great. You don't see that in other sports. They stick to a plan. This is how we got here, and this is what we're doing. Baseball, because the pitcher is the most important part of the equation, it can totally change things, and I love it.
Shohei, 1 for 6, 3 Ks against Lodolo.
You're going to see that.
You're going to see he might pitch every single game.
Well, that's the question. Now, can he do that when he hasn't been doing it?
We're going to find out, Chris. I mean, I guess like if they make it past this round, he's going to start in the next round, I'm assuming.
Right. Yeah, of course.
But I think if you're Tito, you're like, I got to get past this round first. So
throw everything at him.
Yeah, I think we'll see him as much as he can go. Maybe they don't use him every game, but maybe they do.
Okay, so those are our first 2 series. Yankees, Red Sox. What's the most interesting part of that matchup? The Aaron Judge scenario. How much pressure do you think is on him? Do you think of him significantly different because of his October, I wouldn't say failures. I guess you can say failures. Use whatever word you want. Dodgers and Reds. What do the Reds have to do in order to win this series? What is the key thing for them? What is the key component? So we're halfway home. Playoff season, though, it is here. So whether you're at a watch party, a tailgate, or hanging with friends after the game, nothing levels up those moments like the refreshing tropical lime kick of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Baja Blast. It is absolutely legendary and now available everywhere. Grab a can or a bottle. Bring the tropical flavor to your next watch party. So this postseason, when you're hanging with friends, rooting for your favorite team, grabbing food late night after the game, or at a fall tailgate, grab something that'll really help tie it all together. That is Baja Blast. Don't wait. Grab Mountain Dew Baja Blast today. Taste the tropical refresh that takes every occasion to the next level. Find it now at mountaindew.com/finddew. Second game that'll get going on Tuesday happens at Wrigley Field. It's a rematch from the 1984 NLCS where the San Diego Padres came back from 2 down in a best-of-5 series to best the Chicago Cubs. It's a pair of eye-opening free agent signings that'll get the ball in Game 1. Nick Pivetta for San Diego going against a very emotional Matthew Boyd for Chicago.
You think about a career. Think about what? How ridiculous, man. This is cool because it's cool for so many different reasons. It's cool because you never know when the opportunity presents itself. My grandfather grew up in Chicago. He grew up a Cubs fan. I think 2016 was one of the happiest days of his life. I get to be a Cub now. It's pretty cool.
What do you think of that?
It's awesome, dude. He's proud of himself, and he should be. I mean, the guy's been in the league for a long time. I think 2013 or 14 was his first year. He's been in the league for a long time. He's had a great year this year. He's starting Game 1 of a playoff series for the team that his grandpa rooted for. It's like, you should be proud of yourself. Don't worry about getting emotional because that's what happens when you get older, okay? Just start crying all the time.
He did get back into the postseason last year with the Guardians and pitched very, very well, and it helped him get a multi-year deal for a decent chunk of change. And do you know Matthew?
I don't know him. I played against him, so I'm looking at his page now. 2015 was his first year.
Okay.
I remember him on the Tigers. That was kind of how I remember him.
Sure.
But super nice guy. We ran into him at the All-Star game and was great.
He's about as nice a human being as you'll meet.
Yes.
I finally had the chance to meet him this year, early in the season when the Cubs were out in L.A., and he was actually pitching that day. Now, usually I stay away from the starting pitchers unless I know them. And I hadn't met Matthew. He comes rolling out. He's got his flip-flops on, and he comes up and he says, "Hey, Chris, I'm Matthew Boyd." I was like, "Matthew, enough."
I'm the biggest Guardians fan of all time.
And I said, I just want to thank you for last year. He goes, "Man, I had such a great time. I had a hard time leaving that team." I said, "Hey, aren't you pitching today?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "But look at how wonderful it is outside. Why would I want to be cooped up in a clubhouse wearing some headphones and staring at my phone or an iPad?" He goes, "This is great. I'm going to go out here and walk around and just enjoy it. I think he's got just such a different perspective on life, and I loved seeing that vulnerability there. Now, there might be a handful of Cubs fans that probably thinking to themselves, shit, that's not the guy I want starting game one. I want a guy who's going to chew nails and, walk on hot coals. I don't want a guy who's going to be crying like a you-know-what in front of a microphone talking about his grandpappy. Like, right? I'm sure there's that section of people, unfortunately, but you're entitled to whatever thought you want to have. Free country. I loved it. I think he's going to be ready to go.
Yeah, of course he is.
I think it's great. My big question has to deal, though, with their opponent. Do you think we're going to spend more time at the conclusion of the series talking about San Diego's pen dominance or their questionable starting pitching?
I flip-flopped on my pick for this series. Originally, I was like, I think I
don't give
just
it away.
Well, I'll give one away. It's fine because it's part of the answer, Chris.
All right. Okay. You can.
I think the Padres have a formula to win this series. And just to win the postseason, it's get an early lead and hand it over to the bullpen. I mean, that's as easy as formula as you're going to get. Early lead, hand it over to that bullpen. Bang. So, if they win this series, we'll be talking about the bullpen. There's no doubt about it. If we lose the series, we're going to talk about the rotation. That's how I see it. The rotation, Pavetta's been great. Can he get got? Yeah. Michael King, shaky command kind of issues this year. If he figures it out, I think that he has a chance to, be great also in the postseason. I think both these guys can do it, but I think that would be a weakness, obviously more so than the bullpen. So again, if they win this series, we're talking about how great the bullpen is. If they lose a series, we're talking about how maybe the starting pitchers underperformed. Maybe we'll be talking about the offense as well. Initially, I was big time on the Padres. I believe in the Padres more than Padres fans believe in the Padres. There's something about the team. I liken them to the Phillies with kind of the bravado that they play with. I just like their team and the clubhouse and everything about it. I think it's great. But maybe they aren't. I don't know where I'm going with this. Maybe they aren't as good as I think they are. Or maybe they are. I don't know, Chris.
I think they're pretty good. And
I do too, but they don't get a lot of love.
I think that they discovered their power stroke a little bit in September, and Tatis loves the limelight. I think offensively they're going to be fine. I don't love the rotation. Pavetta was great this year.
But why don't we love the rotation?
Because
I don't understand.
Dylan Cease can walk the world.
Yes.
Yu Darvish is actually scheduled right now to go game 3.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like they don't have starting pitching. They have guys that have been there, done that. I don't think it's as big of it's not as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. I think they're fine in the starting pitching category.
Well, particularly in this series, because as much as we both like Matthew Boyd, he wasn't as good later on as he was when he was making an all-star team. Shota, it feels like he's run out of gas. Horton is not on the playoff roster, and he has been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball in the second half. And to not have that is a kick in the you-know-what. So, yeah, I mean, San Diego, maybe if they win and they advance to the divisional round and they have to play Milwaukee, which some people might question them as a 1 seed still. I don't know. But it's not like they have to play the Dodgers or the Phillies in round 2, I guess is my point. If they get that.
Well, what do you think is the biggest deal?
I'll tell you what the biggest deal is. I think that Mason Miller, you could see him in the 5th inning and let that dude breathe fire. I think they're going to turn him into Andrew Miller this year. I seriously believe that. I think.
Yeah, that is the formula. You have, because you can do that. You can do the Andrew Miller role. You can have him come put out a high leverage situation early in the game, and you still have 4 other dudes at the back end of the bullpen that get the job done, even without Jason Adams. So this is how they've constructed their team. This is their MO. This is what they're going to do. So I feel like we talk about them as this bullpen superior team with no starting pitching. I don't really think that's the case. I think they have everything that you need. The only thing going against them, and what the Cubs have in spades, is lefties. the Cubs bullpen is full of lefties. We're going to get 2 lefty starters there,
Right.
and they haven't performed well against lefties this year. And they've turned it around a little bit, but I think that's the one thing we could be talking about with them. But other than that, I feel like San Diego is a very well-rounded team.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a few things to keep in mind. There's no Laureano for the Padres.
Yep.
He's been great whether he was in Baltimore or San Diego this year. We talked about Horton and the second half that he had on the hill for Chicago. We're going to be watching about Kyle Tucker and see how healthy he is because he can be a difference maker. But I want one name from either team that could sway this series either direction.
It's going to have Manny Machado's going to have to hit lefties like he always has. Career 846 OPS against them, 825 this year. He's got to mash. He's got to mash the lefties. Tatis, you mentioned, big limelight guy. I expect him to be good. But the bottom of the Padres lineup has a row of lefties. I don't expect like a ton out of them. So like the guys at the top of the lineup have to get the job done. So I'm going Manny Machado.
I'm going to go with Pete Crow Armstrong. I cannot believe the fall off that he has had. 847 OPS, started the All-Star game for the National League. He is so important because he's going to get a chance to face 3 right-handed pitchers out of the gate. And then the Padres, they've got a whole bunch of really good lefties out of that bullpen, right? Morihone, Wandy, Matsui, and that could totally neutralize him because he is a mess against left-handed pitching. I think he's a sub 600 OPS. What they need is not only production, they need his energy. Remember at the beginning of the year, man, he was running around. He looked like a little leaguer out there. You know, he'd be running on a triple or making a diving play in the outfield. And I can't remember a single play in the second half where I was like, that's PCA. He needs it for himself and he needs it for that crowd. And he's going to get a chance against right-handed pitching early in the game to make his mark.
I think the energy is going to be there. Everyone starts over at 0 again. You completely forget about the regular season.
Hold on.
You truly do.
Do you really?
Yes.
I understand that. And I know we heard AJ Hinch say it the other day, but do you really forget it?
Because now, and look, again, who's this idiot talking about the postseason never played in it? Okay, I understand that, dude.
Stop.
But there are certain types of baseball that are completely selfless, and the playoffs are one of them. The playoffs are selfless baseball. It is strictly about winning. It's not about, what you're going to get in arbitration, what you're going to, what your numbers are. So you can, all of that is out the window. It's about winning the game. And that can alleviate a lot of that pressure that you put on yourself saying, hey, I don't need to hit a homer here. I can move this runner over. I can make a defensive play. I got to do something to help my team win. Again, the numbers are gone. They don't mean anything in the postseason. It is, does my team win or not? And when you get to play selfless baseball like that, and again, really, I've mentioned it before, Team USA, like WBC's type stuff, is selfless baseball, where the numbers, your personal numbers don't matter at all. I feel the same way for the playoffs, where your personal numbers don't matter. It's does your team win? I think that can help a guy like PCA who, yes, started out hot, not cooled down, like ice cold after that. I think that'll help him a lot. He's going to have the energy. The crowd's going to be electric. The adrenaline's going to be running through him. I'm worried he's going to have too much energy. Like I need him to just like chill, just be yourself, because that's when he's going to be at his best. But yeah, I truly do believe that once everything resets, that you forget about the postseason or the regular season.
All right, back on over to the American League, where the day of baseball actually gets started in my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. The Guardians, of course, set a record by chasing down Detroit after being back 15 and a half games in early July. Now the Tigers come to Cleveland. Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal is on the mound in Game 1 against Gavin Williams. The Guardians have actually won 2 games in which Skubal has started in less than 2 weeks.
I enjoy pitching here. I mean, the environment's great. You talk about postseason baseball and the noise and kind of the chaos and the rowdiness. I think this place kind of embodies all of that. So I enjoy playing here. You get a feel for hitters and what they're trying to hit.
These guys get to go be 12-year-old kids and play baseball. And that's what we talk about. We emphasize that all the time. This is a game. Go have fun. And you play at your best when you're relaxed and having fun anyway. When you're tight and tense it doesn't help anything. You move slower when you're tense, and you have to move fast in this game. So we try our best because everybody feels it. We all know what's at stake, and that's why it's fun. You go embrace that and go play baseball like you have your whole life.
I hope you used that when you were coaching the kids.
But that's what I'm talking about, Chris. What he just said. It's you get to play like a 12-year-old right now. Like, just go have fun, go play with your boys, and try to win. That's kind of, I agree with Steven. Like, you just put all like the professional side, the business side of baseball away right now.
Okay. So who's got the mental edge in this series, in your opinion? Is it Cleveland because it historically chased down Detroit, or the Tigers because in a best-of-3 series, they get to start arguably the best starter in all of baseball?
I want to say Cleveland because they just played so well. And I just talked about momentum means nothing, but like the starting pitching has been so good for them as of late that you have to feel like that's their biggest advantage the Tigers have is Tarek Skubal in game 1. That's I think like really the only advantage they have is trying to get a game 1 victory and then figure it out the rest of the way. Go do your pitching chaos, all that stuff. But I think the Guardians can match that. So I think it's a wash. Like, as far as like who has the advantage mentally, I think Cleveland, yes, riding a high of chasing it down, actually winning the division, understanding that their starting pitching is there. But if you're the Tigers, I feel like what I said earlier plays for them as well. Like what I said about PCA, like, who cares? It's over now, and we got the best pitcher in baseball going for us game 1 in a 3-game set. If we win that game, chances are we're going to win the series. So I think the mental edge is a wash. I truly, truly do. If you make me answer the question, I actually think that the Tigers have the mental edge. Like, it's like there's nothing to lose now. Like, we already lost everything. We're in the playoffs. None of that matters anymore. So let's go.
Yeah. And they can gain everything back by winning a little 3-game series on the road. And that's how it starts. And you've got the best guy in the entire series throwing game 1 and in 4
Who's, by the way, dominated. You said they won the 2 games.
I know.
I understand that, but he has utterly dominated the Guardians this year in 4 starts.
Yes, he has. I'll give you the stats. In 4 starts, the ERA is .64. He's thrown 28 innings and struck out 40 batters. Now, I do want to throw this out to you, Mr. My sommelier. I want to throw this out to you. Gavin Williams has nearly been just as good against Detroit this year. 3 starts. His ERA is 1.06. He's 2-0, and he has 29 strikeouts in 17 innings. Now, the thing with him, he's led baseball in walks. He still can get a little wild, and we'll see how this goes in the playoffs. I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere. I cannot wait. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'll be watching with my oldest son at 10:08 a.m. Pacific time, and don't bother me.
Just don't pitch to Jose Ramirez, Scoops. That is that's it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, like, to give the game plan away. Just don't pitch to Jose Ramirez when you don't have to.
There's one other interesting note. We said we don't know the full rosters because they don't have to turn them in until after this show's been recorded. There is a report that the Guardians' number 1 prospect, an outfielder named Chase DeLauder, who is uber talented but cannot stay healthy, might be making his major league debut in this playoff series. It's crazy.
I love it.
It's crazy, but they gave him a crash course Monday on the outfield and how it plays. And you know what? People would say, how could you do this to this kid? Well, I told you this on Monday's show, that the Guardians have the lowest batting average for any team that has ever qualified for the playoffs. I know we don't care much about batting average, but their OPS ain't much better when you're talking about the worst teams to ever do it. Give this kid a chance. He's a left-handed hitter, so I don't know if you'll see him against Skubal, but he has got a funky swing. For those of you that are golf fans from 15, 20 years ago, you know the name Jim Furyk?
Yes.
Okay. Jim Furyk had an unorthodox swing at best. It was all over the place, but it was a thing of beauty once he hit the ball. That's the way DeLauder looks. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. So just be ready for it.
I mean, how do we not have video of this? Dan, where's our producer at?
Because
Let's go.
What? I'm the one that screwed this up, and I didn't give him a heads up on it. So
that's okay. I can still talk to Dan like that.
No, you can't do that.
I love talking down to employees. You know how that goes.
His name is Chase DeLauder, and he was about to leave Columbus, where he was down at AAA, and head out to Arizona, go get a little relaxation before playing in the Arizona Fall League, because the guy is always hurt, and so he needs more at-bats. And they called him and said, stay ready. Stay in Columbus, because if we make the playoffs, there's a chance you're going to be on the roster. And it is certifiably insane, and I love every second of it.
That's crazy, dude. Great. You know, I had an experience like this. I think it was my first or second year in pro ball. So 2004 instructional leagues or 2005 instructional league. And I was down there, and Joe Mauer was practicing with us because for the same reason, like, hey, like, we might put you on the roster for the postseason. So, I mean, that would be awesome. Like, what a storyline. Here it is. Okay. He looks like an old timey baseball player.
He's actually big.
That looks like a Babe Ruth swing.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like something from the 1920s.
Yes.
He's
putting that lower half into it. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So we'll see. It could be really. Oh, this is against Kenta Maeda.
That's not that a big league, Chris. You made it sound way worse.
It's funky though.
Okay.
It is funky. But
don't start him against Scooble. Don't.
No, they would never start him against. You might see John Kenzie and Johnny Rod and a few other guys that don't get a ton of at-bats, but we'll see. Should we do our brackets? We had to fill them out all the way. So, Dan, what are we going to start with? Mr. Plouffe's? Yes, we are. There's your entire thing.
I mean, I'm staying with my preseason prediction of Dodgers and Red Sox at the end with LA winning. So yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think the Padres are going to win, but for some reason I flipped on that, thinking about all the lefties and the guys in the pen and just avoiding a few of the Padres bats. No Laureano. I don't know. I don't really feel great about that one. It's kind of like my one pick where I'm like, I don't love that. I do have the Tigers beating the Guardians because I think Scooble is going to win the first game. And history has just shown that if you win the first game, like, you're going to advance. So I don't know. I don't love my bracket. It's been a tough season for me as far as predictions. I do like my World Series though.
Yeah. Well, you've had it since day one. Dodgers over the Red Sox. So there you go. All right. For my bracket, first of all, I think 3 of the 4 series that are going on in the wild card are a coin flip. I think the only one that would be a major upset is if the Reds take care of the Dodgers, which I do not have them doing. So I do. Brewers.
Our bracket is so different.
Yeah, it is. I've got the Yankees and Mariners in the ALCS, with Seattle going to its first ever World Series and losing to the Phillies. And in the NLCS, I got the Phillies over the Brewers. I got the top 2 seeds, although I have the 2 seed beating the 1 seed. There we go.
I don't hate it. I mean, I like the bracket. It's completely different from mine. That's why this show's the best.
Okay. So there you go. Enjoy that. Have at it.
Bryce Harper gets his ring?
Yeah. I've been chasing it for years. You know, when I think I've told you this before. On Intentional Talk, we always used to do our playoff predictions at the probably at the beginning of the season. I picked the Nationals for like 6 straight years to do it. And like, finally, it was just they were always in contention, like from 2013 on. They were always a good team. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to pick it until it happens. And sure as shit, it finally happened in 2019. And they were like, God, Rose, you're a genius. I was like, listen, I could have been on this show till I was 78 years old, drooling and pooping in my pants, and I still would have picked the Washington Nationals every year. I'm just thankful that it happened. And then I wasn't on the show, and I found you, and I've been in baseball love ever since.
I know. We have such a good relationship.
We do. Yeah. Hey, today's episode is sponsored by Nutrafol. There's nothing like the postseason. It's full of moments that we can take our hats off to. That is why Nutrafol is now the official hair growth partner of Major League Baseball. They want to help fans celebrate what's under the hat. With thicker, stronger hair, they can feel confident showing off. Did you know Nutrafol is the #1 hair growth supplement in the game? Clinically proven to see results in 3 to 6 months. Nutrafol, it's all about growth, the kind that takes time, commitment, and consistency. That's why they love the game of baseball, because it's more than just a game. It's about showing up day after day, season after season, because when you get the biggest moments, nothing should hold you back. In this postseason, whether you're tipping your cap to a walk-off win or just enjoying the game, you can do it with hair worth celebrating. So we want you to visit Nutrafol.com, take $10 off your first month subscription, and join millions seeking thicker, stronger hair. All right, there was a bunch of managerial news that happened on Monday, so let's bang through this stuff. Carlos Mendoza staying with the Mets. Don Kelly, interim tag removed in Pittsburgh. Congratulations to him. Meanwhile, Bob Melvin gets canned after 2 years in San Francisco. Bruce Bochy, the future Hall of Famer, he and Texas are splitting, and Rocco Baldelli is out after 7 years in your Twin Cities. Let's start with San Francisco, because that's the most interesting. Were you shocked that Bo Mel was thrown to the side?
I mean, a little, because they just picked up his option for next year not too long ago, right?
Right, in the summer.
That's always interesting to me. That why do you do that when you know there's a chance during the offseason that you get rid of the guy? If they hadn't done that, I would say, hey, like, I'm not too shocked. I mean, Buster didn't hire him. He has immense respect for him, sure, but I think Buster wants to bring somebody else in. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's Bochy. That's why Bochy said that. I don't think so. I think Buster wants some youthfulness and some exuberance out of the manager spot. At least that's what I'm, in my mind, that's what I'm thinking. So shocked only because they picked up the option. But other than that, I don't think if they didn't do that, I would be shocked.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the guy's making $15 million a year. I'm sure he was making a decent chunk of change, but
it's just, but you commit to a guy publicly.
Yeah.
Only
Okay.
to 2 months later, that's how the business world is. But I felt like Buster wasn't running it like that.
But you know what? That's how good businesses are run.
Sure.
Like, if you,
I don't hate the move.
You go pivot. So obviously something was terribly wrong there. There was time this year where we saw them on the base paths and fielding the ball, not throwing it to the right places. Like, at some point, that sort of stuff does seem to fall on the coaching staff more. How often do we say, well, it's on the players? Well, at some point, some of that stuff has got to get cleaned up, and there's got to be some disciplinarian at work here. So it didn't shock me. I will be curious to see. Now, Buster Posey's former college roommate at Florida State was the first base coach. We'll see if that happens.
Nepotism-ish?
I'm just saying. I just want to point out facts that I don't know. Maybe that happens.
Hey, there's a lot of guys out there that can make a great manager right now.
And it's his job to make sure that he uncovers everybody. And he talks to as many good baseball people as possible, and somebody that he can work with and make sure that is implementing in the dugout his vision from, the owner's suite, if you will. I think that's important. I do want to ask you real quickly about Rocco Baldelli and what's gone on there. There were 10 trades this year. The team was not going to win. In fact, they lost their most games since 2016. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I didn't know he'd been there for 7 years. Gosh, time has just flown by. Rocco wasn't the main problem. I think the roster construction was poor to begin with, as for what he wanted to do, what he wanted the team to be like. It wasn't that. I didn't mind the roster myself, but the type of baseball Rocco wanted to play, which is base running, defense, they didn't have that at all. A crazy slow team. You can call it unathletic. I won't say that word because I think everyone's an athlete, but not a base stealing, base running team. So I think the roster construction didn't fit with what he kind of wanted to do. I don't know. I'm not shocked. I think that when you have a season like this, like, that's going to happen. Changes are going to be made. It wouldn't shock me if we hear that a lot of the other coaches aren't back as well. I don't think it was all them. I mean, I was around the team a lot. They definitely put the work in. When you slash payroll,
Yeah, you're
every
not going to have a good
year,
team.
you know, you win your first postseason series since God knows when, and then you start slashing the payroll and you're trading away guys like we saw this year. I mean, how much is that really? What can you do?
Listen, the teams took the for sale sign out of the front yard late in the season as well. This is not on Rocco. Can somebody else make a bit of a difference? Maybe, but listen, this team is in danger. I know that it's hard for you to say that because you work with the team.
It's not. I can say whatever I want. I'm not
I know
afraid
you
of that
can.
whatsoever.
Okay. This was their lowest attended season since 2000 when they were in that shit burger of a home called the Metrodome.
Hey.
It was, dude. It was dark. It's not a good baseball park. There were some great memories there.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of great memories there, Chris.
But let's not call it, come on. I had a lot of great memories at Cleveland Municipal Stadium, but it was not a great stadium. There's a difference. They have to be really careful here. You know, I think the Pohlad family's got to be really careful. And bringing in a new manager. By the way, were you joking when you said there's only 2 right answers and it's Torrey Hunter and Justin Morneau?
No, not at all, because I've talked about this before. We've talked about the decline in attendance. We talked about the decline in interest in the team, as the Vikings are a very good football team and there's a lot of interest in the NFL in general.
Right.
But they're very popular there.
So
obviously hockey is immensely popular. The Lynx and the Timberwolves are very popular. Like, you're starting to become not second fiddle, but you're third, fourth, fifth fiddle in a city that is a good sports town, and they'll support you when the team is good. So the reason I say those two guys, number one, they're both very, very smart baseball people. But number two, I think they are the only people that, if they were named manager, would actually increase like attendance and interest in the team.
Okay, I would agree with you there.
If you went outside and just brought some dude in that whatever, like, that's not going to get people back. Torrey Hunter already in 2015, when he came back to our team, they paid him $10 million. They made that up immediately when they signed him because he brought interest back.
You're right. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Can I add Nick Punto to that list? I think he could also do it. He's been a bench coach with the Padres this year, so he's learning.
Yeah, but Punto doesn't have the name splash that those other.
I think he does. I think you'd be surprised how much he means to people in Minnesota.
Well, I can tell you this: he would bring down the average golf score.
Very good golfer. Fuck, that guy can swing. He can smoke it. I shouldn't have cussed there. Didn't need to. But he can hit the what out of a golf ball.
The question is, if he's the manager, when the Twins get their first walk-off win, will they rip his jersey?
We've had some good times, man.
I'm sure you have.
But Torrey or Justin, man, we got to get Torrey out of the Angels system, bring him back.
There's a lot to get to today. What do you think of each of the 4 series? You can give us a key point in your comments. You can comment about our playoff brackets. You can give us yours just give us a World Series winner if you want to put in there, or your World Series matchup. Go pick it. All I can tell you is the next month is going to be great. I love this particular postseason because it wouldn't shock me if I think there's a couple teams that have no shot. I would say probably I would be shocked if 3 teams in particular won it. But other than that, I could see 8 or 9 teams.
Do you know, like, who has the best odds? Because we didn't even really talk about that. I think that's interesting to talk about in a season like this where we really don't have what we would consider some juggernaut besides the Dodgers.
I am not going to say that I follow that stuff, but
you saw it then.
I will listen very quickly. Who has? I don't know that verbiage, but I'll continue on.
Sure, fine. Right now, the Philadelphia Phillies are in Vegas, have the best odds at plus 450. Then it's the Mariners. So you're 2 teams.
Wow.
You're chalk. 550. Dodgers also tied with the Mariners at 550. Then it's Blue Jays. Then it's the Yankees. Then it's the Brewers.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
I can't wait. I think it's going to be crazy. When we rejoin you on Wednesday, I'm either going to have a big old smile and be nervous, or I'm going to have a frowny face and be even more nervous. But I love being involved at this time of year because I sure as shit didn't think it was going to happen a couple months ago or 3 weeks ago. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the clean-shaven-ish and uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Wednesday and get you set up for Wild Card Game 2 here on Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew.